Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Cricket's Dance. And this is a new drama from director Veronica, Robledo, and starring Kristen Renton, who previously was on the show Sons of Anarchy. And this film focuses on a Southern attorney named Angie Lawrence, who tries to search for the rightful owner of a journal that she finds at an old antebellum home that she inherits. And while she's digging through this story and connecting with this story of a woman and a slave on this plantation and the connections that they make with their children and, a lot of other tropes that you see in slave films and stuff like that, and films about slavery, and then you have, in present time, Angie kind of falling for her fellow lawyer, Andrew, played by Maurice Johnson, and this film basically is kind of working in two frames. So you have this relationship that Kristen Renton's character Angie is going through in her own time, where she's mourning the loss of her father, she's trying to process this inheritance, trying to find connection in her own life, but she gets entranced by this journal and really diving deep into this story, which has KateLynn Newberry plays Emmeline, who's a woman who is married off to this, the biggest, stereotypical piece of crap plantation owner character that you can find in films about slavery and stuff like that. And he's heartless, he's just mean, and all he wants is a son, and she fails him by having a daughter, and she has this connection with a slave who's on the plantation, and you experience their connection, played by Butler, and all of these different threads of very dramatic things going on, and some threads of romance, and all these different things moving pieces in this film. And I think Robledo does a fine job of threading the themes together, but there's still a lot going on, and I feel like the screenplay that Robledo adapted from Deborah Robillard's novel just leaves a lot of characters that are just flat, one-dimensional kinds of characters, and you use them to, prove points of basically anybody who's on this plantation is just a complete utter piece of crap, and it's very obvious who we're supposed to be rooting against. And you have a lot of... the film feels very melodramatic. Everything seems heightened up to a certain level of just drama. And the acting is a bit stiff. There's only a few actors. I feel like Renton does a really fine job in her performance, and the two female leads in the story within a story here, I think, do really fine jobs. But there's a lot of other supporting characters that feel very stiff and awkward. They don't feel very genuine, and they're trying to have serious emotional moments, and it's just hard to connect with when they're a bit stiff like that. And definitely the tone of the film just feels very overly dramatic and kind of cheesy at times, which takes you out of the film a bit. But I do feel like there is some genuine connections that you see, especially between Renton and Johnson and their budding relationship in this present storyline. And in general, I feel like this film checks a lot of boxes that you would expect out of a historical drama and historical romance, and does it in exactly the kind of tone you would expect it to be, this kind of film. And it doesn't always work for me, but I'm sure there's plenty out there that'll just take a seat, just relax and just take it all in and really experience this very dramatic and potentially very moving film. And there's a lot of powerful ideas in this film, even if some of them aren't as fleshed out as they could have been. But in general, I think The Cricket's Dance is a fine film. I think I got a decent amount out of it. And if this is your kind of thing, if you love those historical dramas, historical romances, and I feel like you're definitely going to get enough out of this to get some enjoyment. might be a little too much for some in terms of like the melodrama and like turning that like emotion a bit too artificially. But in general, I think this is a fine watch. But those are my thoughts on The Cricket's Dance. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.